Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutation to the hopeful elect. Once again, coming at you with another lesson, and Lord's will, it will be edifying to the Lord's elect. And I want to entitle this lesson, Took Venezuela, It's Mexico, Cuba, Colombia, Nigeria, and Greenland next. So you should know in the news, everybody knows by now, January, it started out with a bang. This year, 2026, it started out with a bang. U.S. invaded Venezuela, captured Nicolas Maduro, the president, and his wife, and brought them back here to the States to New York to stand trial. Now, you got a lot of countries around the world condemning what Babylon just did. Babylon, the great AK America, just did by going invading a sovereign country, snatching the president out of there, and basically taking over. As DJ Trump said, they taking control of the oil. And so, like I said, a lot of countries is condemning this, like Russia and China. And I want to get into some articles and some videos on this. And I want to start out with this video, this article right here. This is a STF plan, shtfplan.com. And it says, Russia condemns U.S. capture of Venezuela's Maduro as armed aggression. So things is changing. A lot of things is changing in the world. And like I said, this thing kicked off 2026 with a bang. It says Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was seized by U.S. forces in Caracas, with President Trump announcing his arrest and extradition to face charges including narco-terrorism conspiracies. It says Moscow denounced the operation, demanded an urgent UN Security Council meeting, and framed the U.S. justification as baseless, accusing Washington of a regime change motives, and that's the MO of these devils and how they operate. Go around to different countries, and they got different steps that they do. They try to get in there and basically convince them to go down with their program. They'll go in there. They'll try to basically make a deal with them. They don't make a deal with them. They move on to the next step. Then they want to take that person out, or they want to set up puppet. If they can't set up the puppet, then like I said, they'll go to the highest level. And in this case, it was Nicolas Maduro, who they just basically went in there, strong-armed the country, and took him out of there, him and his wife. It says Venezuela is a key Russian ally with deep military and economic ties. The capture risks escalating tensions further amid existing disputes over Ukraine and could harden Russia's stance globally. So, like, hey, it's not just Russia. It's Russia, China, and other European countries condemning, what DJ Trump just did by going over there and taking this man out of Venezuela. It says prior to his arrest, Maduro declared a state of emergency, urging Venezuelan forces to resist U.S. intervention. It says his removal leaves uncertainty over whether resistance will continue or U.S.-backed leadership will consolidate power. And it's all about power. And that's why the scriptures refer to the Babylon the Great as the hammer of the earth, because they go around basically taking what they want. And I want to get into with this lesson, what I want to get into is how a lot of these, or just about all of these countries that DJ Trump is talking about invading and taking, all have a lot of resources, a lot of minerals, a lot of resources. And it's no coincidence. See, if Venezuela didn't have no oil or no silver and gold, no, they're rich in a lot of. Hey, the Venezuela is rich in a lot of minerals and resources. You best believe they wouldn't sink all of this resources and army and equipment and ships and special missions. All of these things cost money. They didn't do all of this because it wasn't nothing there except just getting a man. No, this place is rich in a lot of resources. It says the extraterritorial seizure of a foreign leader sets a contentious legal and geopolitical precedent, potentially justifying future interventions by rival powers like Russia and eroding international sovereignty protections. So basically, this action by DJ Trump, basically, it opens the door for anybody. If you got the power, basically, can you just go? Do you just go and just snatch a president or a leader out of their country? Is this how the world gonna run now? So basically, usually these things they do these secret missions and things, but this one they just put it right there in your face, all over the news. This is where we at. This is where he's quote unquote so called into selling drugs and all of these different things that they've accused the man of. Basically, they put it in. They put their story out there and what they thought of the man to make him look like however they want him to look, so that people can say, "Oh, that's good. Yeah, you getting a good guy. You getting a bad guy because he's into he's doing drugs. He's selling drugs and doing all these different bad things. Yeah, we got to do something. We got to make a change." So yeah, that's the way they set it up with the media, so that they can just basically come out with it, make it plain. See. And that's how it has went down. So now it's in everybody's face, all across the whole entire world. Everybody knows about it. It was definitely not hidden. It was not secret. It's been in the news 24/7. It says Russia has denounced. And before I read this, I want to say a lot of countries are now like, "Oh, are we next?" And if internationally no one does anything for what just happened, then that just opens the door, like I said, for anybody. They can just continue going in, taking down leaders and countries, and basically put it out there right in your face. That's the times that we're living in. And this shouldn't be a world as an Israelite that you should want to continue on in. This is not our rest. This is actually the time where the Lord is bringing about his prophecies. He's bringing this thing to an end. He's got these devils really moving fast now. Now they just out there in front, just doing any and everything, taking over countries and taking people, taking resources, doing all of these different things. This is the Lord. Hey, the Lord had these devils doing these things. See? Because they are the wicked. And they're building up that tab of wickedness to where when the Lord brings these devils down, it's going to be justified. See? Because, that's what they do. The scriptures say they are as death. Everywhere they go, they leave a trail of death everywhere they go. It says, Russia denounced the U.S. military's capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro during a targeted operation in Venezuela's capital, Caracas. It says a dramatic escalation of a long simmering tensions between Washington and a close Moscow ally. It says on Saturday, January the 3rd, U.S. military forces nabbed Maduro, with the U.S. President Donald Trump announcing the Venezuelan strongman's arrest. Trump said that the disposed leader had been flown out of the country to face American justice. Now, keep in mind, Venezuela is a sovereign country, and there's certain international laws that's been set up to keep the peace. So the whole earth, all of the nations just won't just go crazy attacking each other and doing anything at will. Those international laws were set up to keep some kind of sanity, some kind of peace. But now, everything is out there now. It's all open in the open now. We know that Yahweh Shai getting ready to come back. We see everything setting up. These devils, they're going to continue to do this wickedness all the way, as the scripture say, he will let until he be taken out of the way. So the Lord is letting these devils do these things. They thinking that the power is in their hand. No, the Lord set you devils up. He put you in power, and he gave you that sword. See, he gave you all the military might and everything that you have. Everything comes from the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But with these devils, they're proud. They thinking it's them. They're smart. They're intelligent. They know how to move, and nobody has a better military. Nobody has a better force. Nobody has better equipment and technology and all of this. Everything these devils have came from the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And why do they have it? Why are they in power? It's to bring about prophecy. It's all about the prophecies of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Yeah, it's crazy in the world today, and it's gonna get even worse. But hey, after Yahweh Shai comes back and put all these wicked nations down, then the kingdom of heaven is going to be set up. And that's what we're looking forward to. So all of these things that we're seeing in the news and that these devils is doing, hey, it has to happen. It has to come to pass. See, everything has to happen. Everything that the Lord said, everything that the Lord says in his prophecies comes to pass. So we're not shocked by this. See, but actually, hey, we getting excited because, hey, when we see major moves like this, we know that we're getting closer and closer to the end of this thing. We're getting closer and closer for the Lord Yahushua coming back. See, it says Trump said the disposed leader had been flown out of the country to face American justice. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, meanwhile, detailed charges awaiting Maduro, including narco-terrorism, conspiracy, asserting he would face a trial in American courts. So I'm not going to read any more of this. Basically, this is the point that Russia, and not just Russia, China, and other countries in the world is condemning this action that Babylon the Great just did by capturing this man and basically taking over the country and saying they're running the oil and all of that. See? Now from there, I want to get this next article. And this is another thing that people don't lose sight of this. Venezuela is not just about oil, even though Venezuela clearly has, I believe they said over 300 million or billion barrels of oil. They have a lot of oil. They have the largest, it's billion, over 300 billion barrels of oil. And it's not just oil. Venezuela and neighboring countries around Venezuela is one of the richest sources of silver in the whole entire world. So it's not just about the oil, it's about the silver. They have a large deposits of gold. They have a lot of gold. See, it says Venezuela is rich in natural resources, holding the world's largest oil reserves, that is, and significant deposits of minerals like gold, copper, and silver. It says, however, its mining output, including silver, remains low due to years of mismanagement and sanctions. Well, they're saying mismanagement and sanctions, but hey, these devils have put all kinds of restrictions on what the country can do. See? So basically, they've been sitting on all this money, and you talking about, I seen an article that said $1 trillion worth of resources, but one of the poorest countries in the world. That it's like that because of these devils and their sanctions that they've put on different countries around the world, including Venezuela. It says Venezuela's resource wealth, oil reserve. Venezuela holds the world's largest oil reserve, estimated at over 303 billion barrels, which is about 17% of global reserve. It says the majority of these reserves are heavy oil located in I believe it's Orinoco region. It says, despite the vast potential, the oil production has been significantly declined due to mismanagement, underinvestment, and sanctions. But it's the sanctions mostly. See, because if they could really move things, and if they were selling things and conducting trade on the level and not having sanctions on them, they would be able to put more money in investments and oils and different things and pumping oil. It says averaging only 1.1 million barrels. It says mining resources. See, this is the part that people not focus on. You're just thinking about oil. It says Venezuela is rich in various minerals, including gold. The country has significant gold reserves, particularly in Briasis mine, which is one of the largest gold and copper deposits globally. See, iron ore estimated reserves 14.68 billion metric tons of iron ore. Plenty of iron. Bauxite, approximately 321.5 million metric tons. Nickel, and they use nickel and they're making batteries and stuff. It says nickel reserves of about 407,885 metric tons. And other minerals include copper, zinc, and rare earth minerals. It says, although extraction remains minimum due to economic and political challenges. Now, this is one of the main parts right here. It's the silver. It says silver market dynamics. It says following recent geopolitical events in Venezuela, silver prices have surged, reaching around $76 per ounce. The increase in silver prices is attributed to the heightened demand for safe haven assets amid geopolitical uncertainty. Venezuela's silver production is relatively small, but the country is recognized for its potential in critical minerals, which are essential for various industries. So that's enough on that. Another thing I want to bring up is this. I seen this video. I'm not gonna play it, but I just want to make you all aware of it. I don't know how true this is or not, but it said I watched the video. It said it happened. Venezuela silver gone. 400. It says 870. It says 847 tons vanish. And supposedly between Russia and China, they got 847 tons of silver out of there before Babylon the Great invaded. Now, like I say, I can't confirm this thing, but it was supposed to be some type of secret mission that they did to get all that silver out of there. So these major countries like Babylon and China and Russia and other countries, the Lord is moving them. See, the Lord, he's moving all the chess pieces. The chess pieces are moving. And this year, we're hoping that Yahweh Shai comes back with all of the things that we see happening. It's a ton of things happening in the world. Now, I want to get this video clip real quick. And then this lady, she's going to basically go into the oil situation with Venezuela and Babylon. 1 minute. Yep.
Listen up. In this video, I'm going to explain why we went into Venezuela and why it was not a good idea. In the last 3 years, the U.S. has been draining its emergency oil tanks, and this artificially lowers gas prices. But what America has been doing is selling its family heirlooms to pay rent. Our reserves are at the lowest since the 1980s, and the petrodollar, which our economy is based on, is on life support. Saudi Arabia has refused to renew its exclusive agreement with the U.S., and the BRIC nations are trading energy with the Chinese currency and their local currencies. The privilege of the petrodollar is evaporating. Weeks ago, Venezuela's former government sought deals with BRICS nations for oil development. And we know that Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves in the world. and the U.S. could not afford for this to happen. If this happens, the demand for U.S. Treasury bonds collapses, interest rates skyrocket, and the entire economy of the West implodes. So Washington had a choice. They could accept the reality of what was about to happen, or use military force, which is the only asset we really have these days. So what's happening in Venezuela is not liberation, it's liquidation. The U.S. foreclosed on a country to secure its assets, and they seized their collateral. And what happened in Caracas might be the strategic defeat that might break the dollar's back forever, because the U.S. says that we are energy independent. They say that the U.S. is the world's largest oil producer, that we no longer need to care about the Middle East or Latin America. But that is far beyond the truth. Yes, we do produce a lot of oil, but we produce light, sweet crude, which is like champagne. It's bubbly, light, and expensive. But our reserves that are in Texas and Louisiana was built 50 years ago and were designed to produce heavy crude oil. They were built to run on thick crude, which comes from the Middle East and Latin America. We produce champagne, but our engines run on diesel. And for decades, we imported heavy crude oil from Saudi Arabia. But that relationship is dead. They're no longer our gas station. They are joining the BRICS nations and ignoring the calls from us. So we started running out of oil that was for our economy to function. And to help with approval ratings for these elections, these people have drained our strategic petroleum reserves. Those reserves are meant for war or emergencies, not meant to buy votes. They flooded the market to keep gas prices low. And now our SPR is hollowed out. And as soon as it went empty, the Middle East started threatening. They threatened to cut supply off. So the only option left was Venezuela. But we couldn't pay Venezuelan oil prices, and we couldn't afford China to buy it. So possession became necessary. The military action was not to save the Venezuelan people, but to secure the oil. This happened just when global oil prices were threatening to break out, and we couldn't refill our reserves on the open market unless we bankrupt the treasury. Now, taking Venezuela, this may solve the problem for a couple of months, but it is going to accelerate the financial disaster because every other country is watching us. And now they're wondering, is the U.S. going to try to do this to them too? This doesn't create loyalty, it creates an exodus. These countries are watching what we just did to Venezuela and wondering probably, what do we need to do for this not to happen to us? This may look like it was a good idea because it saves us for a little while. But just wait until those countries that just seeing what we just did stop wanting to trade with us.
Hey, well, this is the way. This is what we are expecting. We expecting 2026 to be on blast. See, we expecting everything to go down, all the prophecies to come to pass. Jacob's trouble to go full blast, because Jacob's trouble's already started, but it's going to go full blast. The MOTB has to come out. It's very, very close to coming out. See, the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, the RFID hip. That thing, that major prophecy, we're waiting on that. Because, hey, when they pull that MOTB out and make it mandatory, say, start looking up, because Yahweh Shai is on the way. World War III, and World War III is biblical. It is prophecy. It's going to happen. And all of these things can happen this year because we see everything else lining up. And I'm going to get into this, how DJ Trump, he's talking about moving on to other countries. And I want to get into that too. Let me see here. Let's get this right here because, after Venezuela, right after that, Trump is talking about other countries. See, he's talking about other countries now. It says SHTFplan.com. It says Trump, a military raid on Colombia sounds good. So this is what Nero just said. A military raid on Colombia sounds good. See, it says, in the aftermath of Venezuela attack, U.S. ruler Donald Trump has not only threatened to take over Greenland. See, Greenland, he's been talking about taking over Greenland. It says, He also said that a raid on Latin American country Colombia sounds good. So these devils is talking real proud and real bold. Basically, they utilizing military might, and basically they were like I said, the scriptures call them the hammer of the whole earth, and they're definitely moving like the hammer. And the Lord, he gonna come and he gonna destroy the hammer. They're gonna keep hammering until the Lord said that's it. It says, speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One on Sunday, Trump said Colombia is run by a sick man. And every time they ready to invade or take over something, the person who's running it is bad. He's always set up as the bad guy. He's a terrible guy. It says, referring to President Gustavo Petro. It says, whom he labeled a drug leader. See, everybody, if it's not drugs, it's something else. It says the U.S. president suggested that Petro, whom he sanctioned last year, could be removed from power too. See? So like I said, they're very, very proud. It says Colombia is very sick, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to United States. Listen, anything that these devils don't want to come in here ain't coming in here. They not out of, they haven't lost control over what's coming in and what's not coming in. It says, and he is not going to be doing it very long. Let me tell you, Trump stated, asked directly whether U.S. would launch military operation against the country. He replied, it sounds good to me. So you see, it's just being boldly put out there in your face. No secrecy. They just putting their wickedness right in front of the whole world to see. It says earlier December, Trump threatened to attack Colombia as well. Trump announced plans to expand anti-drug operations, including land-based strikes against Colombia, cocaine labs, accusing Bogota of harboring drug producers. Let me see, I'm going to skip down here. Yep, it says, the exchange follows a growing outrage over Washington's unprecedented military operation to seize Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela, which Trump administration says was needed to bring Venezuelan president to trial on drug trafficking charges. So yeah, this is basically it. These devils is on the move, and the Lord is moving the pieces. He's moving the chess pieces to bring about prophecy. So everything these devils do is prophecy. See? And I want to get this too out of SHTF plan. It says after attacking Venezuela, it says Trump threatens 3 more Latin countries. 3 more Latin countries. It says United States ruler Donald Trump issued a command to attack Venezuela. The dramatic military operation in Caracas led to the capture of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, who are now in U.S. custody and on American soil. Trump issued vile threats to the governments of Mexico, Colombia, and Cuba, following U.S. Special Forces raid in Venezuela. In the comments defending the attack on Caracas, it says Trump characterized Maduro as a narco-terrorist. It says, according to a report by RT, when the U.S. ruler was asked about implications of neighboring countries, Trump doubled down on his criticism of Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a key Maduro ally. His cocaine mills and his factories where he makes cocaine, said, adding he does have to watch his ass. So this is the same way he was talking to Nicolas Maduro. It's the same way he's talking to the president of Colombia. So yeah, he's talking about Colombia, Mexico, Colombia, and Cuba. Now, another thing I want to bring out, it's been in the news about Nigeria. Yeah, Nigeria. It says, and this has been in the news. It says U.S. This is out of the NewYorkTimes.com. It says U.S. strikes ISIS in Nigeria after Trump warned of attacks on Christians. The attack comes after President Trump ordered Defense Department last month to prepare to intervene militarily in Nigeria to protect Christians from Islamic militants. Now, you know, DJ Trump, he's thinking about it's always something underlining to when Babylon the Great makes moves and basically attacks other countries. They're known to drop bombs everywhere. Like I say, the scriptures call them the hammer of the whole earth. Now I want to get into how Nigeria has $1 trillion worth of resources, just like Venezuela has. It says United States launched a number of strikes against Islamic State northwestern Nigeria. President Trump announced on Thursday it says the latest military campaign against the non-state adversary, in this case, Islamic jihadists, who President asserts having slaughtering Christians. Mr. Trump said in a post on Truth Social that the United States has launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwestern Nigeria. So once again, the hammer of the whole earth has been on the move. And as you can see, this is Nigeria right here, and this is the area right here where they made their military strikes. Now from there, I want to get this next information here about Nigeria, because, like I said, there's always a reason. These devils ain't just making moves militarily for fun without nothing they gonna get in return. Is always something to it. It says Nigeria is rich in natural resources, including crude oil, natural gas, coal, gold, and various industrial minerals like barite and what is gypsum. It says, however, many of these resources remain unexploited, with the oil sector being the most significant contributor to the economy. So once again, another country that's not really taking advantage of all of the estimate $1 trillion worth of resources in Nigeria alone. It says crude oil, natural gas, coal, gold, iron ore, this is barytes and gypsum. These are all valuable resources located in Nigeria. It says other notable resources: talc, over 40 million tons identified; limestone used in construction and cement production; lead and zinc estimated 10 million tons spread across various states. So as you can see, Nigeria is no joke when it comes to resources. They are stacked. They are loaded in resources. And it's in the news that Babylon the Great is over there bombing them. See? Matter of fact, here I want to play this little clip. It says Nigeria 100. I had that wrong, not 1 trillion. 100 trillion. I was way off. $100 trillion worth of mineral riches. So this is somewhere where you'd want to, if you the devil and you the wicked, this is something you'd want to hide. Let me play this video.
Nigeria is one of the most naturally endowed countries in Africa. Beneath its soil lies a diverse array of solid minerals: gold, coal, limestone, bitumen, iron ore, gemstones, gypsum, lithium, lead zinc, uranium, and many more, forming an enormous untapped wealth base that, if fully developed, could reshape Nigeria's economy far beyond dependence on crude oil. Nigeria is one of the most naturally
There
endowed.
you go. 100 trillion in mineral richness, and along with Venezuela. See? So it's no coincidence that these countries are being attacked. Now, I want to get this video that just came out. Out of nowhere, they're having uncontrollable fires. And this is right after the attacks that they just made in Nigeria. Check this out.
So maybe Igbo Noah wasn't entirely wrong, because something did come to Africa. It just wasn't rain or snow, and the people were not prepared. 8 buildings burned down in Lagos, Nigeria, in one of the busiest places in the town. Y'all, this is no small blaze, man. It's no quick blaze. This fire is so bad, it has been burning for 3 days straight. Look at all that smoke. And it's unsure right now, unclear of how many people have passed away due to the smoke inhalation and this fire. Look at that thing is burning. I wish that I could even tell you that the firefighters were overwhelmed, but they didn't even have that much firefighters. I think they only have 1 fire truck, and they had to get the citizens to help them put out the fire. But 8 buildings, you guys, in one of the busiest areas in Lagos, Nigeria, where they conduct business.
Hello, this is Ojo Lasisi reporting live from Uluole/Home Jones Junction. What started yesterday from the 5th floor of Great Nigerian House has now extended to entire building and some parts of Uluole Urban Mall, and also 2 buildings that are directly beside the Great Nigerian House. As you can see, there are a lot of traders out here looking at what the firefighters are doing. So this is Uluole Urban Mall. The fire has also affected this building. This is the Urban Mall.
2026 comes back. These devils are scriptures say they know that they have but a short time. So they moving. They making moves all over the place. They're saying we're gonna basically secure as many resources as possible. Now from there, I believe I got that and that. The latest in the news is a Greenland. Now, he's been talking about taking Greenland a long time ago, but now it's ramping back up again because of what just happened with Venezuela. It says Denmark in crisis mode as Trump set sights on Greenland after Venezuelan attack. So things is moving. Things is moving fast. It says U.S. President Donald Trump, who has long advocated the control of Greenland, has reiterated that his interest in taking over mineral-rich Arctic territory. Now, this is another place. Greenland is rich in minerals. It says we need Greenland for the standpoint of national security, Trump said Saturday on Air Force One after the U.S. strike on Venezuela. So they got a list. This is what it looked like. It says the leaders of Denmark and Greenland condemned the comments, while the analyst said Denmark is now in full crisis mode over the issue. So yeah, they panicking because so far nothing has been done based on what they just did with Venezuela. So a place like Denmark, they don't stand a chance against the hammer of the whole earth. And they know it. Denmark is in full crisis mode after U.S. President Donald Trump once again sets his sight on Greenland following the strike on Venezuela. And then I got this last article here, and then I want to get into some scriptures, get into some prophecies. It says political. It says NATO is done if Trump invades Greenland, Danish PM warns. Now keep in mind, Greenland is part of NATO. They're covered under NATO. It says everything stops if the U.S. annexes the Arctic land. Mette Frederiksen said. Hard to pronounce that. It says if the U.S. President Donald Trump invades Greenland, it will spell the end of NATO. Denmark's leader warned. Trump, who last week ratcheted up threats to take over the self-ruling Danish territory in the Arctic, it says, should be taken seriously when he says what he wants, that he wants Greenland. So they're taking this thing very serious. The Danish Prime Minister said in an interview with broadcaster TV2. It says, but I will also make it clear that if the U.S. chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops, including NATO, and thus the security that has been established since the end of the Second World War. See? And that's what's happening. That's the latest in the news right now, is that he's also talking about Greenland. So we back to the title of this lesson. Took Venezuela, it's Mexico, Cuba, Colombia, Nigeria, and Greenland next. See? Hey, so this is no coincidence that all of this is happening now. We're expecting these things to happen. We're expecting everything to ramp up, everything to get very, very dangerous, everything to get the evils are going to continue to multiply. See, these devils are stacking the sins up. As the scriptures say, their sins has reached unto the heavens. Once they hit a certain point, then the Lord gonna bring this thing crashing down. See, but they have an agenda. They have a goal. They're setting up. They're trying to set up their NW. The scriptures say they're gonna get so far with it, and then He gonna bring this thing crashing down. Now from there, I want to get into some scriptures, because a lot is happening. That's just a little of the things that is happening in the world. It's a lot of major things happening right now. I want to start out in the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 9. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9, but I want to read it in the GNT, Good News Translation. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, he answered, consider all these things very carefully. When you see that some of the signs I have told you about have appeared, you will know that the time has come when the Most High Yahweh will bring judgment on the world He has created. So we're in judgment time now. We're in judgment time. Things are ramping up. Judgments are already going out. But the Lord, these devils gonna build it up to a certain point, and then the Lord's gonna bring that major judgment with that 7th plague, with them thermonuclear missiles. And China was just advertising how they have these new missiles. I forget how many warheads is inside of them, but it's a lot of warheads in each one. It's a lot of warheads, and they're bragging about it, and they're basically saying, if you mess with us, they said one of these, I wish I had that video, but I don't have it, but they said one of these will take out a major amount of land or of a nation, of a country. And they say there's nothing that can stop it. They move at supersonic speeds. You ain't going to be able to get this thing. But hey, we know through prophecy that the Lord is going to put it on their minds to press them buttons, and He going to take control. He going to take control of all these missiles. These missiles are going to be under the control of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. As the scriptures say, they are the weapons of His indignation. It says, back in 2nd Ezra chapter 9 in the GNT, it says, verse 3, it says, there will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues. And that word intrigue means to make secret plans, to do something illicit or detrimental to someone. And that's what a lot of these countries is doing, especially Babylon the Great. They got all of these secret plans. Says to do something illicit or detrimental to someone. And that's what's happening. We in a time of international intrigues. All of these countries are setting up, and they got their plans on what they want to do. I'm talking about the major countries all around the world. See? It says, I'm going to read that again, verse 3. It says, there will be earthquakes and national rebellions, and that's what we see happening all over the place. International intrigues. See? It says, unstable leaders, and you know, a Nero is as unstable as it gets. The countries around the world, they're all nervous now. Am I next? So the whole world is freaking out, and this is the way the Lord wants this thing to go. He doesn't want it to be calm, and he don't want people to be at rest and peaceful. No, the Lord is ramping this thing up, because once these devils hit that high point of wickedness, then the Lord gonna bring this thing crashing down. It says, unstable leaders and confused rulers. When you see these things happening, you will know that they are what the Most High has spoken about since the beginning of creation. It says the beginning and the end of everything that happens in the world are clear. The same is true in the world above. Wonders and miracles show the beginning of events, and mighty signs show when they end. So we're nearing the end. We're nearing the end of this thing. We're waiting on a few major prophecies. We're waiting on Jacob's trouble to ramp up, get to its highest point. A lot of people are going to be getting deleted and destroyed at that time. See, it's going to be blackouts. We already getting floods and droughts, all kinds of bad weather. We're getting fires all over the place. All of these things are plagues. This place is getting hit by plagues. These are not good things. Earthquakes happening in diverse places. These are all the signs that we need to see in the last days, letting us know that our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai is getting ready to come back. See? So these signs, we're looking for all of these signs. These signs are happening, and we're seeing everything playing out just the way the Lord said it would happen. So we're not surprised that these devils is going around being the hammer of the earth. The scriptures call them the hammer of the earth. See, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. He set these devils up in power. He gave them the power, but it's only for his purposes. Once the Lord say that's it, running their reign of wickedness, then they're going to bring this thing crashing down. But that's not what's in their mind. They're thinking they're going to continue on forever. They thinking, as the scripture said, their house is going to continue forever. They feel like they ain't never going to be taken down. See, as the scripture say, who can make war with the beast? Who can make war with these devils? The Lord is the one. Yahweh Shai is the one. He is the King of kings. He is the Lord of lords. When he comes back here, he going to show all these nations. They're going to be in fear when Yahweh Shai comes back here. And we can't wait. Now from there, let's get this in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 4. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. We're talking about these devils, so-called white men. These devils are set up to be the wicked. The scriptures call them the border of wickedness. See? His soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. They are the wicked. So you expecting these devils to turn and flip and be the righteous? You sadly mistaken. The Lord, he made these devils to be exactly what they are, and they are doing that to the T. It says, but the just shall live by his faith. It's impossible to please the Most High without faith. You must have faith. And as the Lord's chosen people, we are a spiritual people. We are the Lord's chosen people. And we must walk and live by faith. See? You must believe in the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, especially in the times that we're living in. Verse 5, it says, yea, because he transgressed by wine. His philosophies, these devils, their philosophy is basically take what they want, any way they want. They got all kinds of philosophies and that they do that transgresses against the laws of the Lord. These devils is sin upon sin. Their iniquity is over the top. Sin upon sin. That's all they do. The way that they move around this world, they're very proud, bombing countries, taking people's property and taking things from people. See, he is a proud man. Ain't no prouder man on this earth than these devils. They're very, very proud. That's the way the Lord made them. It says neither keepeth at home who enlarges his desire as hell. These devils don't want to, they're everywhere. They all over the whole world. See? And they claiming everybody else is bad, but they dabbling in everybody's business. They everywhere. They got bases all over the whole entire world. It says, and is as death. Everywhere they go, they leave a trail of death. That's how you know who the devil is. Everything that they do brings about death. Even when it comes to the GMO foods, see, the pesticides, they done took away a lot of protections that supposedly was set up to protect us from receiving bad food. All of those restrictions have been taken. Those standards where they inspect things has been weakened or eliminated. So now you better be praying over your food. You really better be praying over the food now. It says it cannot be satisfied. These devils cannot be satisfied. That's just the bottom line. Matter of fact, let me get this in Jeremiah chapter 49. Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 9. Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 9. These devils could never get enough. It says, if the great gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If these by night, will they destroy it till they have enough? That's the mind state of these devils. They can never get enough. They ain't, if they had some grapes, they ain't leaving none for you. They ain't leaving none for nobody. They the hammer of the whole earth. They got their plans. They said that they got resources. They got resources. Policing the whole entire world. But hey, like I said, they fulfilling biblical prophecy. That's why the Lord set them up. He set them up to do the things that they're doing. But it's only for a certain period of time. See? It's only for a short period of time. And we're at the end of that time. We're now at the end of that time. It says, his desire is hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. These devils can never get enough. They go around striving to take everything in any way they can do it. Setting up puppets, overthrowing, taking over. As you just seen what they did to Nicolas Maduro. That's plain. The whole world sees that. And a lot of, like I said, all different nations is condemning that. But these devils is moving full speed ahead. The Lord is writing everything down. Everything it has to hit that high point. See? And once it hits that point, that's going to be it. The Lord's going to bring this thing crashing down. Now let's get this in Micah chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 1. Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, woe to him that devises iniquity. And that's what these devils do. and work evil upon their beds. They're constantly, scriptures say they can't go to sleep unless they do something wicked. And they sleep thinking on something, planning on some plots. See? It says when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. The Lord is giving these devils power. The earth was given into the hand of the wicked. So yeah, they're in power right now. They're in power. But hey, the Lord is the one that put them in power. He's the one that's going to take them down out of power. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence. And that what they just did? They went over there. They took it. They went over there and took this man out of there and took over the oil. They covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. See? That's exactly what just happened. We just seen that. That's exactly what just happened. This is their MO. This is how they move. That's how you know who the devil is. You don't see nobody else doing this. Now from there, I want to get this. In the book of 2nd Esdras, this is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15. 2nd Esdras, chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 5. 2nd Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 5. It says, behold, saith the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. So the Lord is getting ready. He's already bringing these plagues, but they're getting ready to intensify. Everything is going to get worse. It says, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. And this is when the Lord is going to bring these devils crashing down. Once they hit that point to where the Lord said, that's it. Number one, we won't be out there prophesying. We won't be prophesying. We won't be putting up lessons. The Lord's going to close the mouths of his prophets, meaning we're not going to be prophesying and teaching. Then the Lord's going to bring the destruction. See, that's exactly what's coming. And hopefully, Lord's will, it's this year. Venezuela, Venezuela, that's the tribe of Asher. A lot of them are Asherites. Nigeria, a lot of those is Judah. Israelites is in the land of Judah, in the land of Nigeria. And like I said, these countries, Venezuela, Nigeria, Mexico, Colombia, Cuba. Mexico is Issachar, the tribe of Issachar, the Issacharites. Colombia is also Asherites, Asher. See, Cuba is Manasseh. So, it's no coincidence that these different places around the world is where they are, where there are minerals and resources. They're Israelites, but these are not rich people. They're not rich. We're not rich. That's how you know the plagues is on us. We in these countries sitting on all these minerals, all these trillions of dollars of resources, but broke. Don't have nothing. But hey, the Lord is finna flip the script. These devils don't have but a short time left. Everything is getting ready to flip. The Lord is getting ready to set us up. After he take these nations down, we're going to be set up. See? Haiti, you know how Haiti is over there. I did a lesson on that. They got a lot of gold and iridium there. They have a lot of resources. And these devils have been over there for a long time, pillaging and taking the resources out of there. And over there in Haiti, those are the Levites, the tribe of Levi. So yeah, we're sitting on, as Israelites around the world, the Lord has us sitting on a lot of resources that these devils want. But hey, they're nearing the end of their evil reign. Everything is going to come to an end real soon. The Lord Yahweh Shai is coming, and these devils know it. And hey, I'm speaking of time. I want to get this in Job real quick. This is the book of Job, chapter 14 and verse 5. This is the book of Job, chapter 14 and verse 5. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee, Thou has appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. And we thank the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. These devils they have an appointed time. The Lord set a bounds on these devils. Once they hit that certain point, the Lord is going to bring this thing crashing down. And they can't go one day. See, they can go 1 minute, 1 second past the time that the Lord has set for them to rule. Their rulership is coming to an end. And the way they moving, they're not thinking that. They're moving full steam ahead. But the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua has set this thing up. He set this thing up. This is the Lord's movie. Everything is moving according to the will of the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Now from there, let's get this in Job, because they going around the world. They're snatching up all the resources. See, this is the book of Job, chapter 20 and 15. It said he says he has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. So everything these devils been taking is getting ready to be vomited up. They getting ready to get that up. See, as a matter of fact, let's get this. Let's get this right here. You know what? Before I get there, I want to get this in Jeremiah, because I've been mentioning how the scriptures label these devils as the hammer of the whole earth. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 23. It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? And this is what's about to happen. Because right now, they the big bad wolf. They the one that nobody want to mess with. See? So they're thinking, and the world is thinking, who gonna bring these devils down? Well, nobody. They're thinking nothing. But the Lord, like I said, set them up. He's the one that's coming to take them down. And this place is going to be desolate. It's about to get hit by thermonuclear destruction. See? And it's about to be made desolate. Verse 24, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon. See, these devils thinking that there is nothing going to stop them. Their plan, they're very proud. All their plans, everything is working. They got the best this, the best that. Nothing can stop us. Well, the Lord, he's already called this thing from the beginning. They're only going to go so far. O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord Yahweh. And we're talking about Yahweh. See, we're talking about, man, Yahweh has so much power. He calls the earth his footstool. See, the inhabitants of the earth we refer to as grasshoppers. So when the Lord get ready to unleash just some of his power, it's going to be devastating. These devils, they ain't seen power yet until Yahushua comes. Verse 25, it says, the Lord Yahweh has opened his armoury and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation, his righteous anger. And we talking about thermonuclear missiles. That's his armory. He put it in these devils to make these nuclear missiles for his purposes. The weapons, they are the weapons of his indignations. As for this is the work of the Lord Yahweh of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. So the Lord is getting ready to make quick work of these devils and all these heathens. Scriptures say he's going to be done in 1 hour. It's only going to take the Lord 1 hour. And everything, all these things these devils have built up all around the world is going to come crashing down. And they're going to vomit up all those riches just like that instantly. Everything they have. Now let's go here in the book of Ecclesiasticus. Sorry about this lock in. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 8. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings and injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And that's what these devils have done. Everything that they've done is been unrighteous. Unrighteous dealings, riches got by deceit. You see what just happened with Venezuela. They say he's a drug paying king, whatever, we got to get him. And then they say, well, now we over here, we going to basically run the oil, take it over. You see? Riches got by deceit. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. And that people that is about to be translated over to is the Israelites. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that's sitting on all of these mineral resources around the world but can't tap into the riches of it. Well, soon the Lord is finna flip the script. He finna turn this thing all around. These heathens are about to be on the bottom, and the Israelites, we're going to be set up in the kingdom, and we're going to be ruling. You see? So this big change is about to happen. So all of these things have to play out. All of the things we see happening in the world, all of the wars, the rumors of wars, the earthquakes in diverse places, the pestilences, everything we see happening in the world has to come to pass. See? And we're hopeful that this year is that year. Now I want to close out here in the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 10 and verse 4. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10 and verse 4. It says, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And in due time, he will set up over it one that is profitable. Talking about the Israelites, the Lord's chosen people. Yeah, we've been on the bottom for many, many years, and we've been in many, many captivities. But we in the last one. This is the last captivity as Israelites. The Lord is getting ready to come to deliver the elect of Israel. He's going to put down all these heathen nations, and we're going to get set up in the kingdom. And that's what's coming. So when you look around and you see these devils, how Venezuela, they just took Venezuela. And then these devils, he talking about all these other countries. This is what's supposed to be happening. We're not surprised by this. We know that these devils have to make their moves. They're at the end now. They're scrambling. They're going to do everything they think they can do to remain and to stay into power. But the power was given into their hands by the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. See? The Lord controls who's in power and how long they're in power. Every kingdom that's ever been on this earth. He put them in power. He took them out of power. And that's with all nations on the earth. See, the earth is in the hand of the Lord. The earth is in the hand of the Lord. He gives the power to whom he gonna give the power to when he's ready to do it. And these devils represents the last wicked empire. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. And with that, I hope that you were edified by this lesson. Took Venezuela, is Mexico, Cuba, Colombia, Nigeria, and Greenland next. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Makakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutation to the hopeful elect. Shalom.